right, folks, it's Bass Action back in action. In this video, we're going to go through one more example on solving a polynomial without any hints and what we would do for that. So let's just jump into it. When we look at this polynomial that you're given up here at the top, you'll notice that there is no way for us to factor this without any clues or hints of how to go about that for right now. So the first thing that I did is I found all my possible rational zeros, noting that the leading coefficient was a 1, so really I just needed to worry about the factors of 8. So I had my plus or minus, again, that's super important, then 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now, in reality, what you would need to do to figure out how to find the 0 in the hopes that there will be one. Now, obviously, in our math classes, we're going to have a 0 pretty easy towards the beginning for you. I would generally suggest doing like a positive 1 and then a negative 1 and a positive 2 and a negative 2. So when you look at my work here, you can see that I set this up with a positive 1 and oh darn, I didn't get a 0 like I wanted. So I then went to the negative 1 and oh yay, I found the 0. And that's generally what you're going to find. You're either going to typically get your 0 at maybe the 1 or the negative 1, but definitely by the time you got to the 2, or the negative 2, I'm not going to have you go through a bunch of these. I generally will give you a little bit more of a hint on that. Now, once I got this 0, you can see I got this down to a polynomial with 4 terms. So I went ahead and I wrote that polynomial out with the 4 terms, and I would want you to be able to recognize that this 4-term polynomial does factor by grouping. So you can see I factored that by grouping, and that got me down to my x squared minus 4 and then times the x minus 2. And I did still have this 0 up here of this x minus 1. So combining this 0, this factor, and this factor, I was able to get this nice factored polynomial. This was the 0 of negative 1. Here's my x minus 2. And then also I factored the x squared minus 4. So that gave me this nice complete factored polynomial. It also then allowed me to recognize that this 0 of 2 is actually a double. So when I go to graph this, I can get my end behavior, okay? I can get that end behavior based on the degree 4 with the positive leading coefficient. I can place all of my zeros, my negative 2, my negative 1, and my 2. I can place my y-intercept, and then I generally like to fill in the ends, so I probably would have drawn this part in first. Since my 2 was a double, I would have drawn in this, and then I would have just connected everything. So from here, then I could have come down and around and up there. And again, how you make your little turns might be a little different, but this is the main thing that you need to understand. When I grade it, I'm going to look for x-intercepts, y-intercept, turns, end behavior, and that your graph is smooth and continuous. Since I do have this on this page, and you might have done this, I want to call attention to this personal pop quiz that's at the bottom of these notes. This is a little review question. You can see I have a rational function here. And it tells us that it is going to calculate the amount of a drug, that particular drug that's in a patient's bloodstream, and T represents time. So you can see here, I wrote that ordered pair in words, which is important. Our time and then how much of the drug is in the bloodstream. What we know, thinking about implied domain, is that time could not be negative. So when we're thinking about our implied domain, I need to have some amount of time that's more than 0, and then I can go, of course, all the way out to infinity. Now, it says find the horizontal asymptote for this function, and if we look at this, we can recognize this as a bob. It's bigger on the bottom, so its horizontal asymptote would automatically be y equals 0. And remember, from our 4243 lesson, as our graphs approach negative infinity or positive infinity, the x's go to negative infinity or positive infinity, your graph will approach the horizontal asymptote. So since our horizontal asymptote is 0, as we go farther out in time, the amount of drug in the system should approach 0. And that's exactly what this is telling us here. So hopefully that gives you another way of understanding why a graph would approach a horizontal asymptote. I know that was a concept that people struggled with earlier in the chapter. And that's all that we have, and that is the end of our chapter 4.